You are now tuned in to the Jake Gagan Show.
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Jake Gagan Show. My name is Jake Gagan. I will be the host tonight. I'm going to be joined by one of my good friends and a fellow content creator in the space, Mike the Investor. There's a lot to cover. We're going to be taking a look at the latest CERDIC audits for Saitamask, over 95% done. We're going to be talking about the Saitamask a little bit. There's some recent controversies or manipulation, if you will, in the SHIB army with Ask the Doctor. I've been looking at it, and it just looks very, very strange. So we're going to take a look at that, as well as talk about DeFi, the DeFi space, and so much more. But before we get into it, let me say what is up to the people in here. We got Shill Rocket, Preston Pratt, like I said before, one of the best follows on Twitter. You got to go follow him. Ricky Diaz is in the house. The Mixed Slim, Carlo Cortez, Peter Murphy, Christine, Franny Crypto, Tito Burrito. That might be my favorite name I've seen so far, guys. Tito Burrito, that's a solid name right there. David Reichman, I believe I pronounced that right. Anton23, Audio Tactus, Asuka, Reed, and so much more, guys. We're going to have a phenomenal show. But before we get into it, make sure to smash that like button. And ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and let's bring in my guy, the man, the myth, the legend, Mike the Investor. Mike, happy Monday. 11 days left until the end of the year. How are you doing, my man?
Jake, man, what's up, brother? And before we get started, man, congrats on the 50K thousand, bro. What a huge milestone. So for everybody, if you haven't smashed the like button yet, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button for my man Jake, man. That's a big milestone. Big milestone.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it's crazy. 50,000. And for everybody that's watching this right now that's subscribed, thank you guys so much for subscribing and supporting and everything like that. Look, it wouldn't be possible without you guys. So thank you to all of you, and thank you to you, Mike, as well. But Mike, rounding out 2021, what a great year for crypto.
Dude, it's been a crazy run. I mean, crazy run. If we just look at the market cap, man, we started at under 800 billion and we hit a high of 3.1 trillion. You know, so if we just look at the growth that came into the crypto market within itself, it's been a crazy ride.
800 billion to right now 2.2 trillion. And obviously we've seen higher numbers. What we saw Bitcoin up to right around 67,000. Ethereum was at 4,700. And here we are today at a 2.2 trillion market cap. Now, before we get into it, guys, I want to give everybody a quick synopsis, I guess, if you will, of how I know Mike. I found Mike through his content. Mike was actually pretty much the main reason that I started creating content. I was looking how to, I think I was trying to transfer my crypto into Voyager or something like that earlier this year. And Mike had a video on there and I found his videos and I watched his videos like, dude, this guy's good. And I think it was when you had around like 15 or 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. So for anyone that's out there, Mike has literally been with me since day one. He's been encouraging me. He's been motivating me. And I got to say to you, man, it's like, thank you so much, because like, you don't understand how far that goes. Like you'll randomly text me on the weekend, like some emojis or like keep going, stuff like that. And it means a lot. You know, it's good to have people that support you, especially people that you look up to and are trying to kind of emulate.
Man, thank you. Thank you, man. And I think that's what it's all about, because it's been people that I've looked up to that's paved the way for me, that's, you know, done similar things as well. So it's just about, you know, giving back. And when you see that true passion and see that you know, fit, man, sometimes your energy just match. And so I just wanted to share some love your way, man.
Man, I appreciate you. And if you have not yet, ladies and gentlemen, go and check out Mike the Investor at Mike the Investor, not the Investor, on Twitter, on YouTube, and everywhere else. He's got 73,000. And I'll tell you what, he makes great content on cryptocurrencies. It's well thought out. It's well planned. It's well edited. And I'll be honest, Mike, I owe you. I think Christmas is coming up. I owe you a nice present, because I've made a lot of money off your plays this year, especially BTT, when you were posting about that back in the day. So for everybody at home, Mike the Investor is definitely Jake Gagan approved. He's bringing you content that he invests in, quality content, and he definitely does his research. But I got to say that, man, you've had some good plays. What would you say for the cryptocurrency projects you've invested in? What are probably your top three in terms of earnings and you know, returns this year?
Man, that is a good one. That is a good one. In earnings. Man, that's a good question, Jake. It's a good question, bro.
Yeah.
Um,
Or
man,
projects that just did well that you like, that you're happy about. Like, not even like, they don't have to be exact, but like the 3 projects that you're like, yo, I got in these early or I maybe even you got in them in 2017 or 2018 when you started, but 3 projects that like did very, very well for you this past year.
I would say Engine did really well for me. XLM did good for me. Um, Ethereum Classic did very well. The BTT I'm still holding, so I didn't sell out, but I did, did very well on that. But I took
Yeah.
profits at the top, and I'm still holding my major position. Um, what else, man? I mean, I'm trying to be strategic about what I say,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Yeah, I mean, I've done well on a lot of things, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it was
Yeah,
a good year for crypto. For a lot of the projects. I mean, there's obviously a lot of volatility. You can obviously get into a lot of projects earlier as opposed to later, but there's just even the stable coins, right? Like they did very well. Like Polkadot. A lot of the projects though, when you're looking at them today are down. Like I still think that a lot of these are good times to invest. Not financial advice, ladies and gentlemen, but for me, it's like ETH at 3,900. Obviously, I believe this will go to 5K. I then believe this will go to 10K. But Solana having a nice pullback. Cardano, these 2 projects right here, I'm incredibly bullish on. I've been dollar cost averaging into both of these. I know you got into Solana extremely early. Like, what was the price
yeah.
when you first started talking about Solana? Under $100, right?
It was at $30, man.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And it got up to like what, 230, 240,
Yep.
things like that. But yeah, I mean, even these projects right here, it's like Cardano, Solana. Obviously, Cardano was up to around $3, a steady pullback since then. But look, long term, Mike, I'm looking at these projects long term. I might even be down on some of these projects. I'm not panicking. I'm not holding because I truly believe in crypto. I truly believe in decentralization. And I believe these products are going to be here for the long term. I don't think 2021 is the peak of the crypto market. Like I think in 2025, 2030, 2040, 2050, like I'm thinking macro when it comes to crypto. So even when I see some of my projects down a little bit, let's say I'm down $1,000 on my investment in Cardano, I'm like, hey, I'm still buying in because I believe that this will hit $5 eventually. So what are your thoughts on that in terms of the crypto market? Obviously, we're at all-time highs in terms of the market cap, in terms of, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're nearing all-time highs, if you will. But where do you see these going in 5-10 years? Is this going to be a good time to invest when you're personally looking back 5-10 years down the road? Or what's your outlook on crypto in general?
Yeah. Great question. You said a lot of things is what resonates with me. I believe like if you're looking from the long-term perspective, 3, 5, 10 years, this is the best time to invest. I mean, hands down. And I mean, truly though, you have to be looking at long-term perspective. Have to be. And I mean, if you're down on an investment, if you know what you own, if you understand the technology, you understand things will bounce back. We understand that we're not just buying an asset with a ticker symbol on it. We're buying technology. We're buying a true investment. You know what I mean? Yes, there's a lot of speculation, but there's also a lot of handwriting on the wall that let us know that, hey, these cryptos are going to be here. Blockchain and cryptos here to stay. And so when you look at the long-term perspective, I think in the next 10 years, so much wealth will be made in crypto. But I believe within those 10 years, the next 3 to 5 years from today, so much money will be made in crypto within itself. Because think about regulation hasn't hit yet. Regulation starts next year.
Yeah.
And so when regulation is fully at scale, a lot of the stuff that we're seeing now in the crypto market won't happen. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I say in the next 3 to 5 years, I think a tremendous amount of wealth will happen. Even within this next 10-year time frame, we're going to see a ton of wealth.
Yep. And you mentioned the R word, the famous R word in the crypto space, which is regulation. And I want to ask the audience as well, because I want to make this interactive. Obviously, we're live here. Say yes or no, audience, everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for joining us. Are you excited about regulation, or is this something that you don't want? Because we see it every day. And I'll say my answer first. I welcome regulation. I do. I welcome it because I'm in this space. I'm looking at things from this other perspective. And I'm seeing so many different people that are starting tokens and doing rug pulls and draining wallets and hurting everyday investors. And I get it. That's part of the wild, wild west of crypto, but it doesn't always have to be the answer in the long run. So I welcome some sort of regulation. I feel like if you want to start a crypto, you should have to have a use case. You should have to go through some sort of a process. You shouldn't just be able to start a Binance Coin crypto and then, raise it to 2 billion market cap and rug everybody. Like that's not how this should work. So in terms of regulation, Mike, are you welcoming regulation, or are you more hesitant for regulators to come into the crypto space?
I mean, I'm more so on the side of welcoming it because, I mean, one, I know it's inevitable, it's going to happen. And so I think, it would be foolish for me to fight something I know that's going to happen regardless. And so I'm more so on the side of preparing for it mentally and then what's going to happen as far as with certain investments. And so also with that being said, when we look at big money, a lot of people don't see this, but I look at big money as a form of regulation coming into this space, just like big money is a form of centralization coming into this space. And a lot of people don't truly see that. When you look at all the big management firms, investment firms, and Fortune 500 companies investing in these crypto projects, this is a sign of silent centralization. People won't talk about this. They won't tell you this, but this is a sign of centralization. When you look at Grayscale, the largest digital asset manager in the world, and we also now have the largest traditional asset manager who just got into crypto. What's the name? Who owns over 7 trillion in assets? I can't think of the name, and it's killing me right now. Someone said in the comment section. It's not. I gotta Google it. But anyway, they're in crypto. We have Grayscale that's in crypto. If they're getting into crypto, this is a sign of centralization. Where's that money is centralized. So if it's coming into crypto, that is a sign of centralization. That they're telling you things are centralized without telling you. So if you kind of read between the lines, you can already see it creeping into the space. And this is why they're focusing on regulating stable coins first, because they're looking at developing the payment infrastructure, which is the foundation of crypto, which is why we need stable coins to process goods and services to one party to the other without losing value. You know what I mean? It all goes around in a circle.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I definitely agree. And yeah, what Grayscale is doing, like what these guys are doing, and find his name too, because I know exactly, and I see his face and I don't know exactly his name. But when they're that bullish and they're buying all this crypto, you look at El Salvador, the country that is literally first off memeing their way to the top. The president of El Salvador, he now changed his Twitter name to the CEO of El Salvador, is probably one of my favorite humans. Elon Musk, one-time man of the year. I think that guy could have been a close second, just because of what he's doing. In El Salvador, I've never been there. I've heard about El Salvador. I heard it's the murder capital of the world, the murder country of the world. And the fact that countries are now buying Bitcoin, like I feel like it's a race to the digital top, and like thou that owns the most Bitcoin will probably win in the digital age, right? It's like, who knows? Like the way that I view cryptocurrency is, and this is what really got me into it, I look at everything else in my life and I say technology has revolutionized everything. Why am I still paying with dollars, and why am I still paying with coins? And obviously things are moving towards the digital space where you take your phone, you do the Apple Pay, you swipe it, you get that, right? But that's still using the fiat currency, right? So it's like these cryptos will one day be able to purchase items. I think it's still very, very volatile in terms of Bitcoin. Like that's the one question. It's like, well, it's worth 3,000 one day and it's worth 55,000 the next day. What if you buy a pizza like we saw for $3 or, for $3 and then it's worth $10,000, right? So the volatility needs to be answered. You mentioned stable coins. Is this your way to counteract that? Or would you believe that this is a way to counteract the volatility in crypto? Maybe we don't use Bitcoin or Ethereum to purchase items, but maybe we use the stable coins?
I think so. And before I get into that, the management firm is BlackRock. I don't know how I didn't think of that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on, man. but yes, I do think about that. And when you think about regulation and what Jerome Powell said, their focus for regulation is stablecoins. Why is that? Because now we can transfer money without losing that value. And they tell you what it is: the US dollar, USDC. It's the digital dollar of the United States. And so think about this. And this is what I see coming. Think about this, Jake, and I want to know your thoughts. As the US dollar continues to get devalued,
yep.
And when people look up and they spend $1 and they're only able to get maybe 60% of that value of that full dollar, but people can spend the USDC digital coin, which is pegged, and get this full value of that dollar, why would they not?
Exactly.
This is the narrative that's being painted today.
Yeah, it's scary to see. Like look at inflation. It is happening. And this is what really, like, this is the second thing that really caused me to get super in depth into crypto back in, what was it? Like, first off, the years are going by. I feel like, the pandemic just started in March 2020. And that's when the US government, around that time, I think it was $5 trillion. They printed $5 trillion out of thin air, nothing to back it, just printed $5 trillion. Mind you, that's 25% of the US dollars that have ever been in circulation. So our grandparents, Mike, that's 25% of the dollars that even the whole time that they've been alive was printed in the year 2020. That was the first thing I was like, yo, like what? Like, at least there's limits on certain cryptocurrencies, not Dogecoin, but like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like, there's only a certain amount that will ever be mined. So it really started to, open my eyes. And people were saying inflation is coming, inflation is coming, inflation is coming. The government was saying, no, it's not, no, it's not, no, it's not. Well, here we are in December 2021, and inflation is here. Look at bread. Look at gas. I live in California, and gas is $5+ a gallon everywhere, and no one blinks an eye. I remember when gas was $2. 250 was high. Now it's $5+ and no one blinks an eye. So inflation is coming. The cost of living is continuing to rise. And obviously there's certain areas like El Salvador where there's not a lot of money for everybody. And this digital currency is giving everybody an even playing field. That's why you see countries like India. That's why, I've had conversations with people in Venezuela who have no money. The dollar is literally worth nothing. I've seen videos in Venezuela
it's in the trash. The money's in the trash.
There's kids that are on a truck and like they're burning the money. It's worth nothing. Mm-hmm. So as governments continue to screw up, if you will, right? Call it what you want, to screw up the dollar system and how they're handling it, digital currency becomes more and more valuable. And honestly, it just becomes more of a tangible asset to say, hey, this might be something that can be used around the world in the future.
I agree. And I think we've seen a lot of things that's told us it's going to be the future. I mean, when we just look at things that's been passed, things that's been implemented, I mean, it's things have already told us what's coming. You know what I mean? And it's bigger than just the U.S., as you mentioned, other states, El Salvador, India, Asia, Africa. When we look at the developments that's happening in all these other countries, blockchain is allowing everyone to be on a level playing field. And that's the biggest mission is for allowing things to be on a level playing field, man.
Yeah. And like when I explain that, so what I'm saying right now is kind of my pitch, I guess, to like my friends that aren't already in crypto, right? The US government printing trillions. I kind of go in more depth about how they kind of screwed up and like whatever else. We don't need to get into that because it's not like a political channel. The inflation thing, which is insane. And then there's another thing that always catches my eye regarding this, and it slipped me, so I'll come back to it. But realistically, man, it's like, oh yeah, here's the thing. So let's say my brother goes to China and he lives in China, right? Let's say I want to get him some money right now, the US dollar, I want to pay my brother. I have to send my money from California to New York. New York then takes my money, takes a little fee because they have to send it out of state or out of country. They send my money to London. London then has to take a fee at the bank and they send it to another country. And then they send it to another country to China, right? There's so many middlemen. And then with some of these cryptocurrencies, if I want to send someone in China some Ethereum, some Cardano, some Polkadot, something like that, it sends instantly. And sometimes there's a fee, depending on what blockchain, what cryptocurrency you're using, of 3 to 5 cents. People can send millions of dollars of Bitcoin for $1. Right? And that would cost probably thousands of dollars if you're sending it the regular way. So yeah, it's just speeding up the process. And honestly, it's like, we're so early. So for the 342 people that are on here right now, you're so early to crypto. Some of you might say, hey, I got in today. It's at all-time highs. When I'm looking at the long scale, the future of this thing, I'm like, look, we're so early. Crypto is not going anywhere. It's just going to become more mainstream each and every day.
I agree. I mean, we could just see the adoption coming, man. Each day we could see more things happening. We could see, professional teams getting into crypto, so we could just see the adoption definitely coming.
I love the adoption, right? You see it like with your daily eyes, like Voyager, the exchange, they're the official partner of Dallas Mavericks. Crypto.com is a sponsor of the UFC. Crypto.com literally bought out, arguably, one of the, I don't want to say the most famous because I feel like Madison Square Garden is the most famous arena in the world or in America, but the Staples Center, probably the second or third most famous arena in America. Crypto.com bought them out for a 20-year partnership, right? FTX is the official sponsor of Major League Baseball. They bought, so it's like these sports teams are now allowing cryptocurrencies to, like whether it's purchase and sponsor teams, purchase and sponsor names. So like that is what's going to lead to mainstream adoption, in my opinion, because you can bet your bottom dollar, ladies and gentlemen, every single Lakers game, every single Clippers game while they're still playing there, every single Kings game, every single concert, there's going to be crypto.com advertisements. And I guarantee they're going to be doing certain things like, hey, Lakers fan, it's halftime. Sign up today and earn $50 in free Bitcoin, right? It's going to lead to that mass scale adoption. So yeah, this was the first year that I really saw the cryptocurrency exchanges and companies sponsoring. And I think it's just going to lead to, more mass adoption. I think we're going to see a lot more of it here in the future.
I agree, man. I agree.
Perfect. Now, I want to talk to you because I know a lot of the people here are part of the Saitamask community, and it's funny. It's actually very, very funny, Mike. We can show this because a lot of people remember this. So I had an interview scheduled, or a live stream like this. I don't want to call it an interview. That sounds pretty formal. But we had a live stream scheduled back on July 30th. Do you remember that?
Nuh-uh. Say that again. I missed that.
So we had a live stream scheduled, you and I, back on July 30th. Just like we had it, and I was like, Mike, look, I'm on a live stream right now talking about this token that I just found, Saitama. I'm like, there's 300 or 400 people on here. Like, can we reschedule this? You're like, no problem. I think you came on it, Mike. That was when Saitama, it was on July 30th, was right here. It had like a 300% day. You joined me for a little bit on that live stream, and Mike, look at what happened since that live stream. This token went from, this range, killed multiple zeros, and hit an all-time high in November before falling back. But as someone that followed the token for quite some time and actually purchased a little bit yourself, I'm pretty sure you purchased a little bit yourself. What are your thoughts as someone who hasn't necessarily covered Saitama on their YouTube channel, but has seen it? Like, what are your thoughts as an outsider, I guess, and obviously a holder, but what are your thoughts on Saitama since you've seen it since July?
Well, the number one thing that is known and that got me about Saitama was the community. I mean, by far, I mean, one of the strongest communities that's up and coming, in crypto. And so with that being said, that is kind of what led to me, because we know that crypto communities can definitely take crypto projects to new heights. Definitely if it has the technology, leadership, and all that behind it. And so definitely Saitama had the community, which is why it grew entirely so fast.
Yeah.
I never bought in at that time, which I really wish I did back in July 30th. You know what I mean? But at the same time, hey, what drew me to it was the community, how active they were about the developments that was up and coming. And so I knew it wasn't a scam, you know what I'm saying, from that point. And so for me, I was like, man, this token's really growing. This token's really moving. And so for me, it was just mainly from you, honestly, you was like, Mike, you should probably just grab a bag, sit on it, listen to some of your videos about the project. And then honestly, just seeing kind of the positivity around the community was kind of warming. So I just grabbed a bag and just kind of sitting on it.
Yeah, I love that, man. I try to put as many as my friends on this as early as possible. When I started believing in it, I think it probably took a little while. It took a few AMAs with Russell and talking to the dev team and seeing the community build. And I was like, this thing is not going to stop. Like, and once it really caught momentum, it really did not stop. Like it went pretty crazy, pretty quick. And obviously, like I said, pretty quick. It's interesting to see because this happens in pretty much every cryptocurrency project. I don't know why it's only crypto, but it's like buy the rumor, sell the news, right? This was right before the major event at the Saitamask. And obviously it fell off after that. But even when you look at like Apple and Tesla, it's like when they have their major events and Steve Jobs releases the iPhone, no, this thing keeps going up, right? But in crypto, no matter what project it is, it's like it's usually buy the rumor, sell the news. A lot of whales come in before, pump it up, and then they sell off. But to catch you up to date, the main use case for Saitama is coming out very soon. We've been saying that for a while. This is the Saitamask that's going to be launching here. Hopefully in the next, honestly, Mike, it could come out while we're on the call tonight. Like it's that close to being completed. I know that we have the holidays. I'm sure the dev team will, release this when it's ready. A lot of people like Del Crypto, that's one of my guys. He thinks that the Saitamask is already ready. He started the hashtag free Saitamask. I love it. But this is going to be the revolutionary use case. It's a wallet. It's an exchange. It's a swap, NFT marketplace, play to earn game. Everything's coming out. And the final update right here is that it's 95% complete. So it's 95% complete. It started off being 35, 55, 80, like 75, and then they started going like one a day. I don't believe it's been updated today unless I haven't updated this. So let's check it. But the CERTIC audit is coming out soon. So I want to ask you, Mike, I'm sure you saw what happened with the BitMart hack. BitMart was hacked by 200 million US dollars, which is insane. And Saitama has been waiting on this CERTIC audit for security purposes. As a holder, as an investor, what's your mindset on that? Like, would you rather have something pumped out, or is security and safety always your number one priority?
I would say for me, number one, it would be security. You know what I mean? And it kind of goes back into knowing what you own. You know, for me, if it's a project I don't feel 100% secure about, or hey, it's a project I'm looking to get in and out on 3 to 6 months, I'm not going to put a ton of money into it. Whereas if it's a long-term core position, I'm going to load up on it. And so that's just kind of my thought process.
I love that. And it's funny how you say 3 to 6 months, because like that's long term for a lot of people. A lot of people are thinking like 3 to 6 hours with some of these projects. Like that's how deep in the DeFi space that we're talking. You know, it's like, but 3 to 6 months is cool. And I don't know if you saw this, but BitMart was hacked. And for everybody listening, we're still gonna, honestly, we might have to tweet at it right now, because I want to be a voice, man. Like this is messed up. And I can kind of catch you up, or maybe anybody else that's on here up to speed. But BitMart is a major exchange. They were hacked for 200 million US dollars. And that's pretty much it. This happened on December 11th, I believe, or December 6th, I believe. Yeah, December 6th. We haven't heard anything. It's like like, how is that possible, dude? And like the hacks were from their wallet. I don't think that many users in terms of like users' wallets were affected. But BitMart had about 700 trillion Saitama tokens hacked. It caused the price to go down like 40%. SHIB had, billions of tokens hacked. Floki, Crypto.com tokens. So it's like, we haven't had an update. Maybe we have. We'll check Sheldon's, but it's like, man, like we get one major exchange hack per year, but how are they not held accountable? How can you just say, hey, sorry, the crypto's hacked and your project's down 40%. We're going to open up withdrawals and deposits here pretty soon. Like, what are your thoughts on this? Do you feel like these exchanges should be liable if they have a hack of $200 million? Do you think that they should have to purchase these tokens back, or what's your standpoint on that?
Man, I think however they need to make things right with their investors and the users of the platform, I think it should be made right. You know what I mean? As an investor, we use your platform not only to buy and sell, but we use it as in trust that our value and our assets is going to be safe. And so with that being said, when something like this happened, and of course, we're hoping this wasn't, anything crazy happened. You know what I mean? I'm not going to get controversy or anything like that. But when we use platforms and exchanges, we expect we give them that trust, just like they give us our trust to use their platform. And so it should be a two-way street. You know what I mean? And so with that being said, I'll just say this. There's been things that's happened in the past with exchanges where they may have sent the wrong amount of money or the wrong coin to the wrong wallet. And there's been things that's happened where they were like, hey, could you please send this back to us? Right. Yeah. So if that's happened before and this big hack happens that affects clearly a lot of people, well, on your side, hopefully you guys have something in place, to make things right for your investors. However, I know it's, easier said than done with that type of money, but at the same time, man, there should be something in place. Definitely, if you're looking to be a major exchange, you should have something in place. I mean, period, man.
It feels, look, I don't know what happened. Like you said, it's like, I'm not pointing fingers, but they like, let's just take a look. Like, look, I want leadership. Like that's what I want. And what we got was just some explanation saying, hey, our wallet was hacked. The security breach was mainly caused by a stolen private key that had 2 of our hot wallets compromised. Other assets on BitMart were unharmed. They did like an AMA where they just went in the Telegram, blocked all the comments, and like wrote a few things. But it's like, hey, if you get hacked for $200 million, like people need answers. Like we need answers. And I feel like I continue on this subject and I continue tweeting at Sheldon. I'm like, look, people need to hear what's going on. But it's like, yeah, dude, this caused like, it was a $200 million hack, but it was probably close to a $500 million loss for all of these projects. Because when you see your project down 40%, what do most people do? They probably sell thinking that things are going wrong. But yeah, I just would like to see more transparency. And I think people in the comments do as well. It's like, look, man, like if I was the CEO and I had a company that lost $200 million of cryptocurrencies, like I would probably be on AMAs every night trying to make it right. And, I haven't heard from the CEO in quite some time. And really BitMart just kind of started tweeting more Christmas emojis and what they're listing here. And yeah, we need to get some answers here. But I just wanted to bring it up because it's just a weird time where you can just have $200 million gone and that's it. You don't have to answer anybody. You don't have to say anything. There's no SEC coming in, and it's like, well, who's going to hold these exchanges accountable? And then who's
that's where regulation comes in. That's where regulation comes in. And so, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy because I mean, man, that's 20% of $1 billion gone. You know what I mean? And it's like, I get it. Things happen. I have no idea what happened. I'm no developer. I'm no technician or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'll put it like this. I'm a very optimistic person. So I'm hoping, for the people that use BitMart. I'm not a person who used BitMart, me personally. However, I feel for the people that, that definitely used it and who was, subject to this hack, so hopefully they make things right for them for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was the people that used it and also just like the projects that were involved. And obviously I don't think there was any foul play, but it's like, yeah, it's, like if Apple loses $200 million or Robinhood loses $200 million, you guarantee that's making headlines everywhere. And I just feel like, there needs to be more conversation around it. So I'll continue to do it. My goal is to get Sheldon, the CEO, on here. And I might tweet at him every day. We might have to tweet right now, guys, in the audience and do a little retweet. We'll probably do that just to see if he wants to come join us. But yeah, the people want answers. And I think that's important, to use these platforms in a good way. And I think that's a good way is like, hey, what the hell happened? Like, tell us, like, just explain. And because a lot of people are anticipating a buyback for the tokens that were hacked. And if there's no buyback, fine, just let us know. But, transparency will always be key. Now, Mike, I got to ask you, moving into 2022, are there any tokens right now that you have your eye on that you're like, hey, this one or this one might be a strong, solid play in 2022?
Honestly, man, I've talked about it. I'm so bullish on Polygon. If it dips anything crazy, man, I'm loading the boat up. Crypto.com, very bullish. VGX, very bullish. You know what I mean? And so I'm not talking like super risky plays. These are plays that are definitely going to be here when the smoke clears. But also CKB, I'm looking at CKB as well if it dips. So in 2022, the number one project I'm looking at for sure will be Polygon for 2022.
So tell us about Polygon for anybody that's out there. Obviously, man, on the year, this was under a penny. A year ago today, it was at a penny. And now it's currently trading at $2.13. A lot of people have heard about Polygon Matic, but for anybody that's not out there, what exactly is Polygon?
So in simplest terms, Polygon is a layer 2 solution that pretty much fixes the scaling problem for blockchains. Now it focuses on Ethereum being the internet of blockchains, but the thing is where a lot of people get the misconception is because it focuses on Ethereum, it can only be used on Ethereum. That's not the case. It can be used on, any type of blockchain that needs what it offers. And so what it does is it allows blockchains to scale with, speed and the transaction fees very low in simplest terms, and allows them to scale and doesn't have that infrastructure problem. And so in simplest terms, that's what Polygon is, with a lot of other stuff going with it.
So will Polygon help Ethereum in any way with the gas fees and the speed of Ethereum?
Yes. And then if you just look at unstoppable domains for a second, before they merged with Polygon, it would cost a lot of money just to mint your blockchain domain. You know what I'm saying? On the blockchain, if you want to buy it. Well, now because of what Polygon, you can do that for free.
Wow. Very, very cool. And this is what I like as well. Look at this, guys. The core, like fully doxed core team, advisory board. Like, this is what you look for, like in a project. This is how you know it's a legit project. No anime characters. Like, Polygon is a legit project. Now, obviously, we don't give financial advice on this channel, but there are investors that are looking and interested in investing. But for you in particular, Polygon's at $2.13. We obviously know it was below a penny, which is just insane returns for Polygon. You mentioned if it dips anymore, you're purchasing it. What is your price that you have in mind? Like, is it below $2? Is it below $1.50? What do you have in mind for a good buy for yourself individually?
Below $2.50, I'm loading more, a lot more. So for me, it's very interesting because I mentioned in today's video I put out, we
Okay.
have news that supports we're still in a bull market, and we have news that supports we're in the start of a crash of the bear market. We have news that supports both narratives. To be
Wow.
honest, if you be completely honest, we have news
Yeah.
that supports both. And so, with that being said, it really just kind of depends on time, what time is going to give us. And so, with me, most of my investments, I'm still investing in certain cryptos, but a lot of my money right now, just because of we're in a gray area, I've been putting a lot of money in stable coins. Reason being, I still have large enough positions. If things do go crazy, I'm fine. You know what I'm saying? But also at the same time, if things go to the other end, I'm very prepared for that as well. Because not only do I have even more capital, but I'm still earning passive income on those stable coins, and I'm not losing value at the same time. And so, with that being said, when you look at where we came from, under 800 billion to 3.1 trillion, that's what is that, 2.3, 2.4
Yeah.
trillion that entered the market just this year alone. So when you think about that from that perspective, we're at crazy all-time highs. When you think about what's happening in the market today, I went over a video that went out last week, I think, 10 things that are affecting the markets today, right? These narratives have all been painted. I'm not going to get into it, but at the same time, I'm just saying we have narratives for both sides, right? And so, with that being said, I think it's kind of hard to say what happens at this point. I think it's just a matter of what time does for us.
Exactly. And look, to be honest, it's like right now, and this is the first time I've talked about it on this channel, and I want to make a video on this. I still believe we're in a bull market. I still believe that we're going to see altcoins, have their day and their surge because there's so many people that are up on their cryptocurrencies, right? On Ethereum, on Bitcoin, and they're looking for these next projects that are that lottery ticket, right? And there's a lot of good ones out there. I'm keeping my eye on Shinja Shibnobi, which is like reminding me a lot of Saitama in the early days. But what I'm trying to get through there is I still think we're in a bull market, but just because I believe that doesn't mean that I don't have my exit plan and exit strategy ready. And for me, an exit, it all depends on your risk, right? Like I'm 26, I'm single, I have no kids. I can be more risky with my investments, right? If I'm 50 and I have kids and a mortgage and a wife, like my exit plan will probably be a little bit more strict than someone that's on the opposite end of the schedule like me, right? But yeah, I think it's important to always have an exit plan. And exit doesn't always mean 100% exit, but I think it's important to protect yourself, right? A lot of you guys are probably up on your cryptocurrencies, whether it's Bitcoin, ETH, SHIB, Saitama, Floki, you name it. And it's important that that for me personally, that I don't let all of that go to waste, right? Like Ethereum is probably my top gainer of my life, right? I started investing in 2017 when it was around $90. It got up to 4,700. And I bought a lot back when it was $300 and it got up to 4,700. So for me, it's like, hey, if this market does crash to, let's say, ETH goes back to $90, I want to make sure that I protect myself in the future by taking small profits on my tokens. So I think it's always important to have an exit plan and exit strategy. Do you find yourself having those as well? Like, is this something that you think about?
So for me, it's different because, like you said, I'm 29. You know what I'm saying? But I'm married, but we have no kids. We're good. However, I'm not here to sell any of my investments. I'm not using any of them to live off of or anything. I mean, we're in a very great position. I'm very blessed and fortunate to be in
Nice.
that position. And so, with that being said, if things crash, man, I'm not selling, dude. You know what I'm
Really?
saying? Dude, for me, as we talked about during kind of the first segment of this live stream, the future of crypto, right? And so, in my opinion, let's say Bitcoin, let's say 69,000 was the top of Bitcoin, right? If it was the top and big history repeats itself and it crashes 80%, that puts Bitcoin around 14,000. Okay. So if Bitcoin is around 14,000, where is the rest of the market?
It's
Right?
down there too. Yeah, it's down.
Correct. So even with that being said, there are going to be assets that I bought very early that I'm still not down on. I
Wow.
will be Same with you though, dude. You got
Yeah.
in before me. So it's going to be the same with you and anyone else watching this live stream. So I would be crazy knowing what I know, knowing the research I put into this space to sell out way before the wealth unfolds in this space. That's just kind of where I'm at. For me, I would add on to those core positions that I truly believe that I'm getting that second chance on. I'm not selling, man. And the projects that I'm using play money with, I'm letting that thing ride, man. That's why it's a play position. A lot of people don't understand a play position. And this is why I'm so calm. I have positions that are long term. I have positions that I use play money with. If something happens, it happens. It's not going to make or break me. And so I think
Absolutely.
this is it takes a discipline to get there, but I think that's where we have to be.
Absolutely. And a huge shout out real quick. And I want to comment on that to my guy, King's Broadcast. He said, always love for Jake G and mad respect for you. Get it, your boy, King's Broadcast. Want to say hi to all my crypto family in the chat. I've been busy, but I have some big things coming for the whole DeFi space. Hashtag Team GOAT, team greatest of all time. This is like my brother right here. King's Broadcast had my back since day one. So shout out to you, bro. Salute to you. And appreciate the donation. I'm excited to see what you got coming. He said he's got big things coming. I want to see what it is. But shout out to my guy, King Broadcast. Much love to my guy. Now, that your answer right there just goes to show that everybody has different risk tolerances and everybody has different strategies, right? Like someone on this stream might be home and they have a wife with cancer. And they're like, no, I need that money to pay for that. Someone might have to pay for their kids' college tuition and they're up $150,000 on their investment. And they say, no, I want to take that out, right? So I think it's important to just understand your own risk tolerance, right? For you, Mike, you're saying, look, this is going all the way up. If it goes down to 14K, I'm buying more. That's cool because Bitcoin's going to go to 100K, 150K, 500K, right? But like I said, some people might have different strategies. Like for me, I wanted to pay off my student loans. I had like $25,000 in student loans. And like I said, Ethereum went from $90 to $4,700. And I said, hey, I'm going to take some profits and pay off my student loans. Like crypto allowed me that opportunity. So ultimately, you just got to do you just have to assess your life and say, where am I at? How old am I? What responsibilities do I have? Do I have debt? Like I think debt is the secret killer. So much stress. Like when I had student loans, man, I had this weight. It's gone now. You can't see it. It's off my back, but I had this weight on my back, dude. That like literally, like every time I woke up, like I get my credit checked. I'm trying to apply for a house. Like I go to get a loan. It's like everything is just, oh, you got student loans. You got student loans, right? So for me, it was a blessing to pay that off. But ultimately, you really just got to assess your own your own life, and I think that's pretty cool. Now, this is kind of unfolding here today, guys. I want to talk about it because it's very interesting. Like I don't know what's going on, but let's go ahead and pull it up. This is regarding the SHIB token, and as most of you guys know, I'm a holder of SHIB. I'm bullish on SHIB, and Ask the Doctor, who I don't know who it is, 57,000 followers, verified, but they tweeted earlier today, and they were like, wow, they tweeted a lot in the past couple of minutes, but they pretty much said like, hey, we're selling our SHIB tokens. Here it is. We have made a business decision and have officially eliminated SHIB off our balance sheet. We do, however, wish good luck to all current SHIB holders and success to all of you. I think they deleted some of the other tweets that I saw, but they literally did like a thing where they're like, hey, we're giving away a Tesla if you sell your SHIB. Yeah, they deleted it, but they posted something and they said, hey, we're giving away a Tesla to anybody that sells their SHIB for Floki. And this is something that I'm seeing in the space now. Like I understand that a lot of these projects will pay people to promote their token, but I feel like, I don't know if this is the case, but it's like, I'm starting to see that now where a lot of people are starting to tweet and talk about when they're selling their tokens. And for me, it's like, look, when I exit a position, I'll exit it quietly. I'm not going to use my platform and say, hey, I sold this token, because I understand what that does. Sure, it's more transparent to the audience that I have, but it's also hurting thousands of people, right? Like when you tweet and you say, hey, I just sold my SHIB, or hey, I just sold my Saitama. Yes, that's transparent. Respect, right? But also, like, what about the other 300,000 holders that hold Saitama, or the million plus holders that hold SHIB that you're hurting, right? So what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on, when people exit positions and make that announcement to the world? Is that something that you think they should do? Or, I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think sound cliche, but it's so true, man. It's not what we do, it's how we do it. It's not what we say, it's how we say it. So I think it's all in how we do things. And then I think that's just kind of what it boils down to. If we can understand that, and understand that when you have a certain platform, things you say does have influence. Because I mean, let's be real, and this is not a knock on anyone, man, but most people don't do their own research. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And so when something doesn't go the way they feel, it's easier for them to blame you than be responsible and say, hey, I didn't do my own research, I followed you blindly. It's easier for them to say, hey, you're this, you're that, right? You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, that's always going to happen, but I think we can eliminate that a little bit if we're careful on how we do things with the platforms that we have. Also, I'm going to go with this as well. These two things are used in the entire world, but it's used the most in crypto. And I've tweeted about it before. Number one, if you say negative things about a crypto project long enough, what will people do? They're going to stay away from it. If you suppress a crypto project long enough, what will people do? Stay away from it. I seen someone in the comments say paid influencer. Well, guess what? If people will spread negativity and FUD for free, what do you think they would do if they're getting paid to do it?
Crazy.
Trust me, this stuff exists in this space. And so this is
Crazy.
why I tell people, do your own research and follow the money. We are literally in the cheat code asset space. Crypto is the cheat code. You just have to be patient.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like, I guess it's something that I got to open my eyes to, but I've never once had a project or anyone approach me like in my life saying, hey, talk bad about this project, we'll pay you. I've never once had that. So I just thought people were tweeting like, hey, that's why I tweeted this to them. Like, why do people feel the need to tweet every time they sell a cryptocurrency? Like, just sell it. And I was tweeting about Ask the Doctors because like I showed you a little bit of it. But yeah, like they were like, we're moving all of our money into Floki. This is how you buy it. You know, SHIB will probably lose 99% of its value to Doge and Floki. Main reason, weak leadership and team. It's like, dude, what? Like, why? Like, you're hurting millions of people. Sell SHIB, buy Floki. Like, it's just hurting millions of people. So that's what I was tweeting about when I made that tweet earlier today. But it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't think I've ever said a bad thing unless there's a rug pull. Like, I'll talk about it. But it's like, dude, if let's say I'm invested in Floki, which I'm not, and I want to exit Floki, I'm not going to make a tweet in a video saying, hey, I exited Floki. I'm just going to exit Floki, dude, and I'm going to promote like the good coins, right? So I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing to like smear projects. That's pretty that you get paid to, that people can get paid to smear project. I think that's pretty wild, but I guess it's just the new age, and there's a lot of competition. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, when one money goes into another project, certain people might believe like, hey, that's leaving my project to go into this project. Let's ruin them. And we saw it with Saitama, whether it was paid or not. Like, there was a lot of sketchy stuff, not sketchy, but just like interesting things that happen at, like, you know, time after time after time. That was like, yeah, this feels like it's like an attack on the token. But obviously, you know, we've moved on from that. Now, you mentioned that this is the cheat code asset of the decade and probably the century. I truly believe this, that you are one investment away from changing your life. You are one investment away from changing your life forever in the crypto space. Would you say that this tweet by Jake Gagan on December 18th at 12:50 holds true or is false?
Man, that's definitely true, man. That's definitely true. If you can believe it, man, if you can see, and I'm not saying unrealistically, but like realistically, man, you're still one investment from changing your life. And don't let that tweet go over your head. When you say one investment, that doesn't mean that let's say, let me make a quick example. Let's say you're not a millionaire yet. Let's say you haven't hit 6 figures yet, right? But let's say one of your tweets hits 100,000. That's life-changing money for you because you've never made 6 figures.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to hit $1 million for that to be life-changing money. So don't let that tweet go over your head.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's not about being a millionaire. It's like a lot of people in here, man, in this chat have changed their life with their investments. Obviously, probably not all actualized, right? Like in crypto, you hold your cryptocurrency and it's volatile. But there's been a lot of people this year. I saw a tweet. I saw something on Instagram that over 500,000 millennials became millionaires this year off of crypto and NFTs alone. How insane is that? 500,000 millennials, which is what's a millennial nowadays? I'm pretty sure I'm like the bottom end of it. You're a millennial, right? 29?
Yeah.
I think it's like 25 to 35 now.
Because the generation under us is Gen Z.
Yeah, Gen Z, they're the TikTokers, they're the gamers. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, millennials, 500,000 millionaires from NFTs and cryptos alone. Now, I know you're big into crypto. What are your thoughts on NFTs? Do you collect NFTs? Are you bullish on them in long term? Like, what are your thoughts on NFTs?
Long term, they have a space and they're going to be here. I haven't like dove 100% into them, but I do own some and I bought some. I also got a little gallery on collect.me on the Nervo CKB marketplace. So I got some NFTs that you could check out. Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. I think the biggest pass of my life, and like, look, there's so many people there's so many good projects, there's so many people, but I remember, when people were shilling me Bored Ape Yacht Club. I think Bored Ape Yacht Club at the time had about like 14,000 followers, and it was like zero point 0.2 ETH to purchase one. Now they're selling for like 250, 300 ETH. So everybody has those investments that they missed out on. And I definitely missed out on Bored Ape, but there's always new ones, like there's always new projects. Like I feel like Dogecoin was the first, real meme cryptocurrency. And I say that politely. I think a meme coin, it has a bad connotation, but it's actually a good name. Then SHIB was next. Then Saitama was next. And it's like, who knows? I feel like there's always going to be different ones because people are always looking for those lottery tickets. But for you personally, you invest a lot in stablecoins. You talk about a lot of legit projects. You haven't really ventured into these smaller DeFi projects. What are your thoughts on them? What are your thoughts on these altcoins that are popping up? Obviously, a lot more risky, but when you find a good one like Saitama, it could be very rewarding for you as well. I mean, for you personally, are you staying away from these DeFi newer investments, or are you, vetting them once they kind of become more actualized and become more legit?
Well, kind of where I'm at right now, I actually have some hella risky plays. I just haven't talked about them, man. And so, like if you're in the Patreon, they know about some of them, and I have some other ones I just haven't shared. I just kind of kept to myself. And so, I definitely have some risky plays that I'm invested in. But for me, I feel like there's a time and place. I only have a certain amount of allocation for super risky plays, and then most of my other money going to the legit plays because I look at this as a long-term perspective. I'm not trying to make $10 million in the next 3 to 6 months. I'm good, man. So I just have a different outlook on it. I have plays that can go crazy, and I also have plays that I know is going to do well in the next 1, 2, 3+ years.
Yeah. I think that's smart. But yeah, it's like it's a lottery ticket, It's like I've had some tokens that went up incredibly. I've had some tokens where I've got burned because of shady devs and whatnot. So it really is a lottery ticket. It's insane. I know a lot of people are searching for that, and it can be life-changing money, which is pretty wild. But ultimately, it's a really interesting space right now. I'm also on that board. I try to put most of my money into stable coins that I think are going to be here for the long term, like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, like Cardano. Like Polkadot. I've been buying a lot of Solana, and even like these newer coins though, like Saitama. I found Saitama back in July, put money in, and it did incredible, and I'm still holding. And like because of the dev team, it was like a perfect storm. Because of the dev team, because of the use case, because of the community, this is something that I believe is a long-term play now as well, right? So you can get lucky. I feel like Saitama it was like destiny. It was luck to have found it, and blessed to have found that token. Now, we have about, I know we're going to wrap up at about an hour. I got to ask you, any holiday plans? What do you got planned for Christmas that's coming up?
Man, honestly, man, just relaxing a little bit and then making family rounds, man. That's about it. Spending time with my side of the family and then my wife's side, but that's about it.
I love that, man. Yeah, it's the best time of the year. It's holiday time. I know for everybody that's listening, it can be stressful as well. You got family, you got, got to buy Christmas presents, all these things that are coming. So, it's definitely, the happiest time of the year, some will say, but also sometimes a tough time to get through, family and everything like that. But ultimately, I think that this was a good show. Like I told you, Mike, before we started, I'm still working full time. So it's like I've tried to balance my priorities and like focus on my job because I have that responsibility. So it feels good to get back on the live stream. I think early Jan 1 or into early January, we're going to be doing this full time.
I was wondering, man.
It's coming soon. Yeah,
I was waiting to get that text like, Mike, it's done. I've done it.
It's coming soon. I just, I work in sales and I had a good year and I want to finish out on a strong note. So that's kind of why it hasn't happened yet, but it will be coming here pretty soon, and I'm excited to do that. And a lot of big changes, but 2022 is going to be a big year. Do you have any goals that you set for yourself for 2022? Whether it's financial goals, whether it's on the YouTube content side of things, like anything, any goals or anything you're really looking forward to in 2022?
Yeah. I can't share too much. Of course, you never want to tell what you got planned until you do it. But I have financial goals, I have content creating goals, and I also have other business endeavors I'm working on as well that is not attached to content creation. Because for me, I look at building a business portfolio. I look at being an actual businessman. There's nothing wrong with being a content creator, but I want to be more than that. And so this is why I'm looking at other business adventures to truly diversify my money, not just in content creation, not just in crypto. You know what I'm saying? And so this is what I'm really working on towards this upcoming year.
I like that. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's you got to build the empire. You set the foundation and you kind of expand. Look at Jeff Bezos, right? He started with an Amazon bookstore, and now he's got billions of dollars sending people to the moon and doing whatever he wants on a daily basis. So it's all about expanding. Ladies and gentlemen, before we let Mike go, I want to let all of you guys know that tomorrow we're going to be back with another great content creator, a fan favorite in the SHIB Army and the Saitama Wolfpack, and that is Del Crypto. So the same time tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. PST, we will be back with Del Crypto to talk SHIB, Saitama, Lily Finance, and how he has that insider scoop on every single cryptocurrency in the world. If you want to connect with my guy, Mike the Investor, he is Jake Gagan approved. He's one of my mentors and good friends, and just a solid guy that does incredible research. Ladies and gentlemen, at Mike the Investor. I'll tweet it out after the show, and you can also follow him on YouTube at Mike the Investor. He makes great content and a really, really good friend. So Mike, making our way back into the YouTube content, I had to ask you to come and join me on the show first, and I think it was a great show. So thank you so much for joining us here today.
Man, thanks a lot, man. And once again, congrats on the 50,000. And thanks for everyone for tuning in.
Thank you so much. And thank you guys so much. We will see you tomorrow with Del Crypto at 4:30 p.m. If I don't see you, happy holidays to you and your family. And 2022 is going to be a big year for crypto and each and every one of us. So we will see you guys on the next episode. Mike, thanks so much again.